How are you? Okay, so for this question, the first thing will be to just identify the coordinates. So if you can see nicely, they are saying the diagram below, point A is, so we check where point A is right here. They are saying it's what? It's 1, 1. Important. Point 2 is 0. Point B is 0. It's over here, 0, 7. So this is point B. Point C, where is C? C is right here. Hopefully you can see that's 14, 0. It's right here. It's 14, 0. So it's really important that you understand or you identify the points. So point D is it's over here, 7, 0. And point E is over here, that is 7, 1. So all these coordinates, I'm picking them from the statement. This is a statement that we've been given over here, okay? So once you get those coordinates, what do you do next? You first need to understand the two important formulas. So the first formula is for finding the gradient, of which I know most of you are familiar with. This is the formula. So we shall call this as formula 1. Formula 2 that we need to use is for finding equation of a straight line. And we call this as a formula 2. So upon getting these formulas, we now get the coordinates. So we identify the inequalities. So if you are able to see nicely, we've got this one here. Okay, and this one. So you first check if you have got a line that is cutting two axes, the y-axis at B and the x-axis at C here. You first wait and start with those which are cutting one axis because they're the easiest. So for example, this one is only cutting the y-axis here. For the x-axis, it's not passing at any point on the x-axis. Even this one is cutting the x-axis at D. On the y-axis, it's not cutting anything. So if you see this one nicely, this is y is equal to a 1. The coordinates here at A, this is 1, 1. That means here it's 1 and here it's also a 1. And it's passing at 1. So we get the value at which it's crossing that axis. So this one is crossing on the y-axis at 1. So now to show the inequality, we shall say this is y is greater or equal to a 1. So the greater or equal to is what has shown the inequality. Now the question may be, why have I put greater? So if you can see the line, just look at the line and check where it's shaded. It's the bottom part which is shaded. And this shaded part is what we don't want. So what we want is the greater, the top part of this line. So we shall say y is greater or equal to 1. We come to this one. This one, of course, it's a x because it's passing at the x-axis at 7. So this is 7 where it's passing at point 7 over here. So we shall say x is equal to a 7, okay? And then we show the inequality, which is x is less than a 7. X is less than what? A 7. So if you can see, this is shaded to the greater part. If you see the number line, isn't it? You see that to the right-hand side, it's the greater. To the left-hand side, it's a less. So the less is what is not shaded. So we shall say x is less than 7. But we are not putting an equal. You see this equal? I'm not putting it. Why? It's because this is a dotted line. It's a dotted line. Dotted line. It's not a finished or bold line. It's a dotted. You can see whenever the line is dotted, you don't include the equal. This one was a finished line. We included the equal. This one is dotted. Don't include the equal. So that's one of the most important things that you must know. So we have found two inequalities. The third one will be this one. So for this, it's passing at the center. When the line is passing at the center, it calls for these two formulas. Or when it's crossing two axes, y-axis and x-axis, it also calls for these two formulas. So let's start with This one, it's passing at 0, 0, 0, 0. This is the origin. And here it's 1, 1. So we shall get these coordinates. We shall say O is 0, 0. And A is 1, 1. So we now use formula 1, this one, to find the gradient. So we shall say M is equal to Y subscript 2 minus Y subscript 1 over x2 minus x1. So on our coordinates here, we shall say this is our x1, y1, x2, y2. So just plug in, okay? So this is a 1 minus a 0. Then we say over, here it's 1, it's 1 minus 0 also. And when we work out, we shall just get a 1. So the gradient that we have is a 1. So after getting that gradient, we now find equation of a straight line by using formula 2. This one over here, formula 2. So we shall say y is equal to mx plus c. That's our formula 2. And on our formula 2, we plug the value of y. We can either work with these coordinates or with this. So get this. So my y-axis is a 0. My m is a 1. My x is a 0 also, plus c. You solve nicely there. You discover that your c is equal to a 0, because this is 0 and 1 times 0, it will just give us a 0. So our c is equal to 0. There we say y is equal to x, because on m, if we put a 1, it will still be 1x. So this is y is equal to x. And on c, if we put a 0, it won't change anything. So now, after writing this, we can say y is less than x. Y is less than x. That's our solution. So now let's write here so that we understand why we are saying y is less than x. So we say y is less than x. So if you can see, this line is moving like this. Which one is the greater part? It's the top part. And the less part, which is not shaded, down here. So we shall say y is less than x, the part that is not shaded. Okay. We go to the next question. So the next inequality, it will be this one. So we pick the coordinates. We have for B, let me cut. For B, we have 0, 7. For C, we have 14, 0. So using this formula right here for the gradient, we shall say this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So the formula will look like this. If you are able to follow nicely, this is how the formula looks like. And here we shall have a 0 minus 7. Over here we shall have a 14 minus a 0, which is giving us a negative 1 over 14, and that is negative 7 over 14. That is negative 1 over 2, and this is our gradient. The next is to use now this formula. So we shall say y is equal to mx plus c. So we shall put these coordinates. Y-axis, it's 7. The gradient is negative 1 over 2. X-axis is a 0 plus a c. Okay? So here we have 7 is equal to a c. Okay, 7 is equal to c, because negative 1 over 2 times 0, it will just give us a 0. So 7 will just be equal to c. And we write back y is equal to negative 1 over 2. Here we put the gradient and write back the x plus a 7. So our final answer will be y is less or equal to negative 1x plus a 7. So this is our answer. So if you can see, the shaded part is the top, the greater. The bottom part is not shaded, and that's a less or equal to, because it's a finished line. Thank you so much. This is linear programming paper 1. So you may get some concepts, okay, out of this, and it will help you very much. Bye-bye.